We have always been told that when things get tough, we have to stop and heal. But here's the truth, when you're doing less, you get weaker. And when you get weaker, even the smallest thing becomes stressful, right? Because you're not getting happier by doing less. You'll be happier when you're making progress. So you are not lack of purpose, you just lack of decision. Hello everyone, it's Zaraa here. Welcome to my channel. First of all, I just wanted to say that I am not someone that have that captivating way of talking to make people stop and listen to me all the way. But here is one thing that I genuinely know, that once you hear and know about what I'm about to share with you here, there is no way you can ever go back to the way you used to think or even live. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm just here to share with you the answers, the facts, and even the wake up call that I get, which give me that inner peace and clarity that I feel is very hard to find nowadays. Without further ado, from my very first video, I'm going to share about my own wake up call that are inspired from Tony Robbins podcast. If you don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is the living legend. He literally figured out life itself, and he is still out there learning, exploring, and serving the world, even though he's a legend himself. If you wanted to know more about him, I highly suggest that you check him out. Before we get deeper into the topic, I just wanted to emphasize that you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be curious. You don't even have to be ambitious to listen to me, to watch this video. As long as you have the ability to think and you have a common sense, then this video and this channel is for you. The truth about feeling stuck in life. Personally, I am someone that whenever I encounter any kind of problems, any kind of issues, I would like to find out the root of the problem itself, so that when that situation happen again, I know what to do, right? I can solve it once and for all. So in this case, the root of the problem, which is people feeling stuck in life, is because we are not making a decision. Who would have thought that is the answer, right? Not me. People not making decision not because they don't want to, but because we are scared of making the wrong decision, and we wanted to make sure that we make the right one. But the worst decision that we can ever make is by not making any decision at all, which lead to the stagnancy, right? So now that we know what the root of the problem is, the solution is exactly make the decision, right? But why most of the time we see that people make a decision but they did not follow through with it? So Tony shared this thing. Making a decision is not a one-step process, it's three. Because when we make a decision, when we decided on something, which is the first step, we decided based on a moment, the state that we are in. I am inspired today. So tomorrow, next month, next year, I am going to do this. But the moment you step out of that state, you no longer feel the same, right? So you don't feel like doing it anymore. That's why most people do not follow through with their decision. So what should we do? It leads to the next step. You have to make that decision. You have to do something to bring that decision forward to the future. This is the second step, which is you commit. You commit to that decision. So you have to do something in that moment while you are still in that state that will make you commit to do it ongoingly towards the future. So if the first step is based on the moment, the second one is on the future, right? Which you commit, and it's the future aspect. The third step on making decision, that finalize that decision that you make, that the decision can actually happen, is resolve. To have a resolve, to me, myself, it's like, this is it. You have decided that no matter what happened, whatever people throw at me, whatever life comes, what situation I experience, I have decided that this is it. That is the resolve state. And unless and until you are in that state, that decision that you made previously, it's not going to happen. You know why? Because your reason is not strong enough. So when you think, I thought I decided to do this yesterday. So now you know why you're not following through, because making decision is not one step process, it's three. But what if my decision is wrong? Who told you you need to make the right decision right away? When you were born, do you bring a planner with you? Like, do you even think to yourself before you come out of your mother's womb, right? Do you think to yourself, what should I do once I go out? Should I smile first? Should I cry? Or should I laugh? You don't, right? Do you think to yourself, I should learn how to walk so I can be faster? I can be a genius if I understand this thing first, if I know what to learn first. When you were born, previously, before you were born, do you bring a planner with you? Do you think to yourself so much? No, you just born. And you figure out life as it goes, right? Exactly. If the decision turns out to be wrong, now you know it's wrong. Your mothers get mad at you, oh, this is wrong. And you stop doing it. But if it's the right decision, then you will continue without you realizing there is no more stagnancy, right? Where is feeling stagnant before? Where? Where is it? No more, right? Because we are talking about action. The action is making decision. People nowadays feeling anxious, including me, because we don't have that decision making muscle. Or maybe it gets weaker because of the pandemic, right? Whatever the situation is. So, how do you deal with this? You simply make a decision, right? Even if you don't know what kind of decision to make, just start with a small one, because little by little, the more decision that you make, the more decision making muscle that you have. And the faster you will make a decision, and the quicker you will get out of that stagnancy, right? It's the same. It's the same when we are building muscle by going to the gym, right? You start with small thing and the muscles get bigger, you get stronger, and the faster you get things done. I never done this personally because I just know the technique, but this is the formula that Tony Robbins share whenever he's making a big and important decision. You can write down, but if you wanted to know more deeper, you can just go watch his podcast directly. I will leave the link in the description below. And the first when we are making a decision is the outcome. When you're making a big and important decision, what is the actual outcome that you want? And being a human, we are complex, right? So most of the time, we will have a lot of things that we want to achieve, and sometimes it contradicting with each other. We wanted to be happy, but we want other people to be happy as well. We wanted to be fair, but we want other people to get what they want. We wanted money, but we wanted love as well. So you have to write down everything, which lead to the second O. After the outcome, you need to list down all of the outcome, which is the option. Second O is option. You need to know what is your option. So once you list down everything, you have to put it in order of your priority, which one you need the most at the top. After you know your option, you need to do the third one, which is the C. You need to list down the consequences. Out of all those options, you need to write down the consequences beside it. What is the upside and downside of this outcome? After we done the first three, come to the last three, which is E, M, and R. E is evaluation. So now you write down everything, right? You need to evaluate what is the percentage of this situation is going to happen. Most of the time, we are so worried that this situation will ruin me, this situation is going to be bad, and the percentage of that situation going to happen is zero. How much energy, time consuming that we already waste because of that, right? So after you evaluate everything, you go to the M, mitigation, where you mix and match. Because everything is already inside a paper, it's in front of you, you are not in your head anymore. So now you can think clearly whether this one can mix with this one can mix with this. So you can make the best decision strategically, right? Just which brings to the last part, which is resolve. Like, this is it. You make the decision, you have your information, you have the strategy. I'm choosing this, you resolve, it's done. Why I'm sharing this? Because your decision determines the quality of your life. Because think about it, just use your common sense. We are here because of the compilation of our previous decision, right? If we choose differently before, we might be in a different place right now. Correct or not? What leads to someone make a decision? Why we make that kind of decision at that time? So there is 3 steps behind it. It's just the first one, we make that decision because of what we focus on at that time. And most of the time, what we are focusing on usually based on our value. If we don't have a strong value, we might focus on the less amazing thing, right? So what you choose to focus on. Second is, what does it mean to you? If you choose to focus on what is missing, what does it mean to you? It will mean that I'm a worthless person. I'm someone that is not enough. And what does it lead you to do? This is the third step. What did you do with it? So most of the time we make a decision because of this three things. What we focus on that time, what does it mean to us at that time, and what did we do with that information at that time. We always have an option, whether we choose to stay or we choose to get out of there. We always have the different kind of ways to respond to a situation. The truth about finding happiness and fulfillment. We always thought that we will be happy once we achieve something, once we own something, once we obtain something. But when we actually get what we want, how long does that happiness last? In 6 years from now, will you be happy the same way because of that situation? Is it 6 months or 6 weeks? Maybe 6 days, 6 hours? And suddenly something comes up again, we are no longer happy. So what does it mean by happiness actually? Here is the actual equation. Happiness equals progress. Progress equals happiness. Because the very first principle of fulfillment is growth. Because we are not made to achieve goals, we are made to grow. When we grow, we will feel alive, right? With that being said, you need to figure out what actually fulfills you. Because if you don't find fulfillment, you are bound to be miserable. And what makes you feel fulfilled depends on what you're focusing on. Because more stress happens because we are not fulfilled, not because we are not achieving, but because we are not actually making progress towards something that actually matters to us. Does that click in your head right now? But if you don't even know what fulfills you, how are you going to make progress towards that? Do you get what I mean? As a fellow Gen Z myself, I've always torn in so many directions. Like, I wanted to be successful, but I wanted to be at peace as well. I wanted to work hard, but I cannot push myself too much. I wanted to be comfortable, but I want to be successful. How does that work, right? I'm sure most of you guys can relate to me right now. And nowadays, every time something tough happens, we will stop and we will go do some healing, right? This is because we thought that by doing less, we will get happier. You don't go to the bottom and now you're okay. Because when you do less to nothing, you will get weaker. And now little things start to stress you out. Did you see the full circle now? Why we are how we are right now? Because the more we don't do anything and make any decision, the more anxiety we will have. And instead, the more decision that we started to make, the stronger we will feel and the more in control we will feel in our life. I wanted to share this story from Tony Robbins that I feel worth sharing. There is this, during a war, a private person was sent by a general to make a decision, to figure like the analyst, to be the analyst, something like that, I'm not sure. But they have to make a decision. And because the argument during the war, the argument on both sides is very strong. So for the whole 10 years, 10 whole years, they are not making any decision at all. Until there's one point where a decision has to be made. And what happened is, this private person, they gather around 5 people and they have a meeting. They have to compile all those information from the last 10 years to make sure that they get all the information to make sure they are able to make the right decision, right? And the meeting goes on for the whole 4 weeks. They still haven't made a decision until that one day that general has to make a decision, like now. And the general is not even with them last night, and the general have to make a decision now. So what happened is, when the general come, he asked those people to present the argument for a full 20 minutes. So after one person, they goes to another person and continues. After the argument ends, the general say, "You go and do this." And the soldiers salute, "Yes, sir." And they do what the general told them to do. And the private person just now, he is confused, right? Like, we spent the whole weeks, days and night, trying to compile the information, and how can he know that the decision is the right one? So the private person just now gathered his courage to meet the general. He knocked on the door, he asked the permission to go in and speak freely. So the general grant him the permission, right? And then the private person asked him, "How? You're not even here last night, and you make a decision just like that. What makes you think? What makes you sure that that decision is the right one?" And the general said, "Because, young man, a decision has to be made." The answer is very simple, but he continues that even if the decision that I make turns out to be wrong, then we figure out what's not working, right? We can just switch. But if it turns out what I did is right, then we can just continue. It saves us a decade's worth, a decade, guys, worth of waiting just to make a single decision. So what I'm trying to say here by sharing this story, right? Imagine those 10 years worth of information is what you think about in your head. When you are overthinking, when you are overwhelmed, when you have to make a decision, are you going to be the private person or the general? And I'm here to let you know that you are the general. You don't have to wait for someone. You are the one that make the decision itself. How much suffering did we save simply by knowing these facts? The mini truth about purpose and self-esteem. For the longest time ever, we always heard people asking themselves, like, what is my purpose living here? What is my purpose for being born in this life? But who said there is only one? Because life will evolve. Everything grows. What made us think that throughout our whole life there is only one purpose that we are here for, right? I'm not talking religiously, by the way. Because as long as we are moving forward purposefully, our life will always have meaning and we will be fulfilled. Another reason why people often stress out is because they are doing activity that don't have any purpose or meaning towards themselves. This is what leads to the burnout culture nowadays, right? We always hear or even said it ourselves that I don't have self-esteem because when I was young, people do this to me, people say that to me, people do horrible things to me. I witnessed so many horrible things when I was young. But the truth is, self-esteem is earned by your own self, with your own self. How? By doing difficult things that you know is right. Because even if someone has the perfect tools, the perfect environment, the perfect people around them, the perfect metrics, if they are not doing anything that they know is right, they don't do anything with that stuff, how strong and how authentic their self-esteem will be. And I am going to end this with this one phrase from Tony Robbins again that I don't think I will ever forget. You are not here to demand from life. Life is expecting from you. Therefore, As long as you contribute, you will always be happy. And I truly hope by me sharing all of these things, it helps you as much as it helps myself. And if it resonates with you and you wanted to know more about this kind of stuff, you wanted to hear more, to see more of this, please like and subscribe. And if you want more people to benefit from what I shared just now, like how we get the benefit from this, please share with the people that you care about. And I genuinely, sincerely thank you so much for listening to me, because you literally don't have to. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.